Hello, all of you little demons. Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Tues Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval-themed format where I, the crown Jules of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you. Yes, you, the person who is learning to drive and had to do an emergency stop today because somebody ran out in the middle of the road. That's always fun for your nerves, isn't it? Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week. And this week we have none other to thank than Skunk for their suggestion of video games that are upcoming that we just cannot wait to play. And as per usual, I've done my YouTube wizardry on that title and turned it into something slightly different, but hopefully it will not stink as much as the skunk may think it does. Because today we're talking about video games that are just on the horizon that you, my friend, are simply not ready for. Yes, that's right, gather round as we try to brace ourselves for the strange, the different, and altogether new experiences that are about to hit our screens. So with this in mind, I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 video games that you are not ready for. And you know the drill by now. Say hi to me here in the live chat and put your suggestions for next week's episode down in the comment section below. But with that in mind, let's get on with that list, shall we? Number 8, Deceive Inc. Deceive Inc. Deceiving. Oh my god, it's meant to say deceiving. How is that? It's too early in the morning for me. Now, if there's one thing that players will simply not be ready for whilst playing the upcoming F-Spy S, that was meant to be a joke on FPS, but it only works if you say F-Spy-S. Two in one entry. In the upcoming Spy 'em Up Deceive Inc, it's that everyone present within the game's sprawling levels and even inanimate objects present throughout the game could potentially be another player waiting to cap them in the back of the dome. And this is the problem, lads, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm all dome! I could be capped from anywhere! In short, it's a game that plays like a drawn-out heart attack, and that sounds fun, right? To better explain, though, Deceive Inc is a title that throws players into a psychedelic-clad spy mission where the objective is to capture an object and escape undetected. However, there's just one catch, because Deceive Inc sends multiple spies on missions to make sure that everything goes to plan, and as such, things all go to hell when it's revealed that only one spy will be able to pick up the payment. What results is a razor-wire tense experience where you must use stealth, disguises, and good old-fashioned gunslinging in order to claim the booty without becoming a bounty. You might venture into this game thinking you've got a cool head and a super spy level of suave, but trust me, after just a few rounds, you'll be left a nervous wreck, unsure if that plant pot was in the same place as the last time that you swept through the area. Yes, I don't remember it being there, and it would explain why it's laughing at me. Oh, I'm dead now. Sick. Number 7, Die by the Blade. When you first pick up Die by the Blade, you might find that your initial battles might be over in the blink of an eye, as this game's central motif of you die in one hit makes for contests that reward surprise attacks and pressuring your opponent. And trust me, you will never be ready for a game that is over in the first second with your guy just clutching a blade in his stomach and going, where did that come from? This upcoming indie title, developed by Quali, adopts a gameplay style familiar to anyone old enough to have played the Bushido Blade titles, but in addition to this extreme and rather sudden violence, is a counter and block system that adds a much welcomed sense of depth. By adopting high, medium, or low stances, you'll be able to not only attack your opponent from different angles, but also block incoming attacks from those same heights. Add in a dash and roll mechanic, as well as the ability to taunt your opponents to draw out their attacks, and you've got a title that could be over in a flash or drawn out into blockbuster movie-like set pieces. After that initial shock that, trust me, nobody will be ready for in their first couple of goes of just dying straight away, you'll start to develop more and more skills, and this turns into a grander scale battle of wits, of cunning, of outmaneuvering your opponent and finally landing that singular killing blow. But trust me, no matter how long or indeed short these battles might be, you'll never be truly ready for it. Number 6, Choo Charles. Now, very few games will leave you speechless with their trailers, and even less than that will leave you speechless and covered in your own piss and fecal matter through sheer shock and horror. But Choo Charles definitely strikes that rather brown note quite well, as It's unlike anything I've ever seen before. For you see, while the descriptions of adaptive survival horror and resource gathering might seem like well-worn tracks of the industry, Choo Choo Charles utterly derails your experience because of the simple fact that you are being hunted at every turn by a giant spider train with a face that looks like if the moon from Majora's Mask did bath salts. Not only does this horrible monster look utterly terrifying, but the game provides one moment of pure nope, and that is in the form of having to leave the relative safety of your mobile train fortress in order to gather resources in order to make it to your destination. Each moment that I saw footage of the player stepping off of the train, I was like, no, I'm not ready to go yet. I am not ready to go. You could have me carrying a minigun, be completely like decked out in Space Marine armor, and I still would not be ready to face whatever the hell Choo Choo Charles is. And I'm pretty sure whatever the hell it is just get out. No! What noise was that? That was a pure fear and disgust in my gullet. Whether or not the one-track mindset of the gameplay will still haunt players after a few trips is yet to be seen, but for now, there is no way I, alongside many other gamers, are ready for the sheer railroading that Mr. Choo Choo over here is looking to give us. Number 5, Sonic Frontiers. Okay, listen, I'm just going to be honest with you here. I'm not a huge fan of the Sonic franchise. I have had my fingers burned way too many times by the chunky piss that the IP kicks out from time to time, and Sonic R, Sonic 06, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric, they have embedded themselves as core experiences that I would actually choose food poisoning over. And I've had that, and I would never want that again. And yet, Sonic Frontiers is looking and sounding pretty bloody good. After a hands-on session with the game at EGX 2022, Scott Tailford couldn't contain how much he'd enjoyed this game to the extent that I almost got a moment-by-moment breakdown of the experience. And there's very little to hate about the improvements that have clearly been made by the devs. A better tracked homing attack, an attack that can be triggered even while running at full speed, and RPG-adjacent elements that allow players to upgrade and customize the abilities of Sonic. These all sound amazing. Therefore, we might be looking at, dare I say it, a decent 3D Sonic game. I know that fans of the franchise have been ready for this since day one, but for the rest of us, I don't think that we ever saw this day coming. So yeah, the general gaming community is simply unaware of what potential greatness is about to drop on them, even if the Sonic fans have already rubbed themselves raw in anticipation. And speaking of furries, number 4, Pal World. Now, there's something so brilliantly enticing about the upcoming game Pal World that I'm struggling to put my finger on. Is it the beautiful and sumptuous graphics? Is it the fact that there's all of these crazy and cute critters that you can recruit to your roster? Or is it the fact that it's Pokemon with guns? Yes, that's right, Pal World is basically what happens when a developer looks over at that banned episode of Pokemon where Ash has a gun pulled on him and says, "And I took that personally." As for all of its other gameplay intricacies, the world over is now calling this title Pokegun for its absolutely insane approach to gameplay. Even if I was sat down by the devs and shown how all of the other mechanics work, my brain will never be fully ready to shoot a cute and cuddly critter right in the chops with a rocket launcher in order to then add it to my roster. To be fair though, in essence, it's no different from Pokemon's approach to battle, except here it's less Fight Club and more Frag Cubs. In addition to this, Pal World is offering up an open world format, a multiplayer survival challenge, and a storyline that seems equal parts whimsical and nightmare-inducing. And all of this boils down to something that I cannot honestly wait for, but I am in no way ready for. I just hope the devs are as well, because they are biting off a lot here. So yeah, fingers crossed, but also, that was almost like a Muttley laugh. What was that about? Number 3, We Are One. When you first pop on the VR headset and boot up We Are One, it might not be immediately apparent what the game's unique selling point is, especially when you meet your first obstacle of the game, and that is the fact that you can't see the bloody enemy that you're meant to be shooting at. Not helping matters is the fact that you are quite literally rooted to the ground, as here you play a sproutling that has been brought in to help fight back against the tide of mechanical menaces that are ruining our world. So what gives? How is this any fun? Well, this is the thing. Just because the you that you are right now can't move doesn't mean that it's not helpful to another you that is planted over there. Now that you over there, bear with me, is looking at down the barrel of an enemy, right? Hasn't got a gun. but you, on a table in front of you, may have a gun that you can throw over to yourself, and by using timey-wimey shenanigans, you can then flip over, catch the gun that you've just thrown yourself, and use it on the enemy. Now, this is the thing, because of the fact that every bit of gameplay is recorded every time you go into that clone's body, it means that if you mess around with the gun for the first 10 to 15 seconds, the other you is going to get shot to pieces. So you need to be quick about things and figure out the exact puzzle that's coming into play as soon as it comes into play, and trust me, nobody is going to be ready for that. If it sounds confusing, just watch the footage. Probably explains it much better than I just did. We Are One's brilliant use of time manipulation and shooting-centric puzzles make for a deliciously refreshing experience, and one that first-time players will not be ready for on their first outing, likely finding themselves shot to twigs before they even realise what's going on. Number 2, The Last Hero of Nostalgaya. Now, within the gaming sphere, there are many examples of crossovers that have rocked fan bases from both IPs in ways that they just could not have seen coming. From Marvel taking it to the doors of Capcom's greatest fighters, to the wondrous "we have literally got everyone" roster of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, if there's one thing proven to get fans salivating, it's smashing another fandom into the mix. Yet there's one crossover present in the upcoming game, The Last Hero of Nostalgaya, and that is the weird Venn diagram smashing of Dark Souls and the Stanley Parable. Okay, didn't see that coming. Now, to be clear, it's not officially the Stanley Parable kicking the piss out of Ornstein and Smo, but more of a self-aware Stanley-styled narrator who takes the utter piss out of the dark and gritty adventure titles which you find yourself the last titular hero of. This game absolutely ridicules the tropes that are set in stone by the likes of From Software, from a meaningless character creation screen, seeing as you chuck your guy fully in armor half the time, to self-aware item descriptions, all the way through to boss battles that carry over with them utterly bombastic and try-hard names. For example, you've got a boss that is called Train. Who is a train? Yeah, something tells me that no matter what you're expecting this game to be, nobody will be ready for what's about to unfold within The Last Hero of Nostalgaya. And number 1, every AAA title on launch day. Now, this might seem like a little bit of a cop-out, but I tell you what, mate, you look me in the eye of my webcam and tell me that you were personally ready for any AAA game on launch day, because the truth is, you were not. Day 1 patches, complete and utter mess with bugs and issues and server issues that are just completely derailing the multiplayer experience. This is, unfortunately, very, very common. And we convince ourselves that we're going to be ready to play the next brilliant game to come out on the next brilliant piece of hardware. And yet we're stuck there looking at a loading screen as a 50 gigabyte patch downloads itself day 1. What is the point of even midlight launches for these games, by the way? You get home, you put the disc in, you wait 3 hours for it to even start for the first time, and then it's broken. We should be ready for this experience, but we never are. It is quite frankly both absolutely unacceptable and downright ridiculous in how we convince ourselves that maybe this game won't suck at launch as we save for that next experience that will do just that. Cyberpunk, Street Fighter V, Fallout 76, Battlefield 2042 and so many more big-named, big-budget titles have big-bombed in recent memory right out of the gate. And the only shock and surprise generated from these day 1 skip fires has been just how many ways they could be utterly broken. Of course, the publishers care not at this point. They've already got your money via pre-orders and trailer hype sales, and as long as they promise that a fix is incoming, well, they'll buy enough time to get things in a working state a few weeks or months down the line. It's a gross practice that shows little sign of stopping, and the worst thing is that we will never truly be ready for how totally not ready some of these AAA titles are in order to hit the marketplace. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 upcoming video games that you are not ready for. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below, and put your suggestions for next week's episode down there as well. If you want to chat to me on the social medias, you can do so over on Twitter at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. And you can follow James Dow's E over on James Dow's E with the extra E, because he is electric, eclectic, and effervescent. That's right, he's slightly fizzy. I don't know what that is. He's got a problem, a medical problem. Is he looking at me now? Probably not. He's probably just put a meme up there. Thanks, mate. But before I go, I just want to say one thing, and I hope that you are ready for this, and that is the boost of positivity that I try to end all of my videos with. Because you know what, my friends, there is enough darkness, hatred, and depression in this world, and I want you to go out there with a bit of light in your hearts from yours truly, the Egg Daddy, the Dad Hatter, whatever gimmick I'm going by nowadays. I just want you to treat yourself with love and respect, because you deserve those things. And don't let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise, all right? You're a massive ledge. I want you to go out there and smash your life goals today. I believe in you, and you can do this. All right? Big love to you. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.